some notes on touch. Okay, so we have 2-point sensitivity. So first of all, that 2-point threshold, that thing with the toothpicks, okay, that is what we call a 2-point threshold. And what you will find is that as you change where you're touching, what parts of the body you're touching with those toothpicks, sometimes you will feel it as 2 points, and sometimes you will feel it as 1 point, depending upon where it is on your body and how close together those toothpicks are. Okay, so the 2-point threshold measures the distance between the stimuli before they are actually received as separate touches. So what happens is that you will actually feel like there's one toothpick touching you. Okay?
This case has the little machine that you're supposed to use to test it, where you can, it's essentially random.
So, measure the distance between the stimuli before they're actually felt as separate touches. So that's the toothpick thing, and this one is looking at almost like a little protractor kind of a thing. So the distance varies over the areas of your body. Obviously, on your face, you're much more sensitive on your face, and you will notice on your face. Okay? On your hand, you will notice the two differences, but for example, on your leg, you may not. Okay? On the upper part of the crease of your elbow, you may not notice the differences.
Is this related to acupuncture?
Yes. Acupuncture has a lot to do with your touch sensations and where it's the sensations that can trigger other areas of your body.
Wait, what is that?
Acupuncture is basically when you put needles in specific areas of your body to try and...
She had on like the back of her neck and knee.
Yeah, haven't you had that? Didn't you do acupuncture?
I do acupuncture.
Yeah, acupuncture. Part of it is honestly psychological, because you have to get over the idea that somebody's sticking some needles in your body.
But you can do acupressure. She said that doesn't hurt that bad, but you literally have like all these like little things in. It's like little needle holes, and it's all in a big circle.
Okay, so the point is that when you have acupuncture, you are actually going to be activating different parts of your body. And again, you have to get over the idea that you're sticking needles in your body.
Like what does it do?
If you put it in the right places, it'll relieve tension.
So if there's places like, for example, on your foot, there's places, for example, that are activating different pressure points along the rest of your body.
Your neck gets like stiff a lot or something.
Yep, you can do that.
There's places for nausea.
Yeah, there's places for pretty much everything. Touch localization. That was where we were taking a look at when you were putting your fingers together, or putting your finger on your lip, or putting your finger on your ankle. A touch localization depends upon the strength of the pathways from the stimulated parts of the brain. So the length of the pathways, that's what I want to say, the length of the pathway. So we talked about that your fingers, okay, are equal distance to your brain, but your lip is closer to your brain than your finger. Okay? Your ankle is farther away from your brain than your finger. So as a result, you feel the touch more when it's closer to your brain.
Does that mean that does that mean if you just hold it, you feel it on your finger too? Instead of like touches that might
Probably, yeah, because eventually it'll catch up, because that pathway will eventually be stimulated.
to the same.
Yep. All right. Oh crap! I forgot to activate pain. Yay, pain. Okay. Along with touch, we also have to talk about pain. Pain will happen, and unfortunately, we've got 3 kind of theories along with pain. So the first theory with pain is that we have this gate control theory. Okay? The gate control theory says that your spinal cord has this gate that blocks pain or allows them through to the brain. Bless you. Okay? And what happens with the gate control theory is that pain will go through your spinal cord to your brain, and it'll activate and say, okay, you're in pain, this is wrong, okay? And then you will do something to try and alleviate that pain. So, for example, you get a leg cramp, right? You're going to rub your leg, right? So that rubbing of the leg will then close the gate. Okay? The problem with this theory is that it doesn't explain chronic pain. What's chronic pain?
Joanna.
Me, Nikki's laughing.
Chronic pain is going to be where you actually have pain that's constant, right? And for some people it'd be constant, like it's always there, or it could be chronic pain as it's like flare-ups, constant flare-ups, okay? Gate control theory does not explain that, okay? Basically what happens is that they are saying that the gate doesn't get closed, okay? And we're trying to figure out exactly why doesn't that get closed. Huh? Maybe got rusty. Okay, other theories about pain. Okay, that's the gate control theory. So like I said, if the gate is open, then pain impulses reach the brain. If the gate is closed, by incoming impulses from large fibers, so like rubbing your leg, or from the brain, opened by impulses on similar from similar fibers. So that's the gate control theory. The other idea as far as why pain is different for everybody is there's some psychological influences. Okay? Psychological influences have to do with that idea. Have you guys ever been to the doctor like when you are in pain and they show you this pain measurement scale, right? And they ask you on a scale of 1 to 10, how much is your pain? Yes? Okay?
That's so
Especially
hard.
for my knee.
Yes. They ask you that all the time. Okay? They want to know where you are on that scale. Now, the thing about the psychological influences is that you will actually have, and there have actually been studies where they've looked at people and their pain during a long process, and people will remember, looking back on it, they will remember the highest amount of pain, and they will remember the end pain. Okay? The best example of this is because there's like a specific time period for it during labor. Okay? If you ever talk to a woman that has ever had given birth, okay, you talk to them about the pain during labor. Okay? You ask them, okay, how bad was it? They will remember during that however long they were in labor. For obviously some people it's longer than others. They will remember the high point. Okay, and oh my God, it was terrible at this point. And they will remember the end. Okay, they will use that to basically base their overall experience of labor. Okay, and they'll tell you overall it was this, based off from their high point and their end point. So what happens is that they may perceive, okay, the overall experience as being very painful because maybe their high point and their end point were fairly high, but the rest of it, maybe it was a very prolonged labor time period, but the rest of it maybe wasn't that intense, okay? So psychologically, okay, they remember it as being a lot harder than it maybe actually was.
Oh, it's still pretty hard from what I heard.
Actually, my mom always said it was like a breeze. Like, she got a girl and she just watched like Wheel of Fortune, like, push me out.
Yeah,
Sneeze.
for two of my mom's kids, one of them, the epidural wore off because the OBGYN was bad, and the other, she had to give it too fast, she didn't get one.
Yeah, it
Only
depends
one
on,
had an epidural.
I was gonna say,
Right?
it depends upon your individual situation and what's going on. And so some people have a really great experience, some people had the worst experience. So it just depends on what's going on. As well as keep in mind that when you have, like, for example, an epidural, which is basically a needle in the spine, in the spinal fluid, that they leave in there, okay? They leave it in there the entire time. Yeah.
But you lay down.
So they have you while you're in labor and during a contraction, they will push the needle in your spine and they will tape it there. And they will leave it
It's
there.
more like a tube though than
It's a tube.
Oh, so they pull off the needle and it's like a catheter.
Yeah, it's a catheter.
Like an IV.
They will leave it, yeah.
Okay,
Catheter.
that's different.
Yeah, that's very different than leaving
going in, yes. You have to have a really good anesthesiologist that knows what they're doing. I had one that was terrible and could not get it in properly. Yeah, I had one where the doctor, the anesthesiologist, had a hard time getting it in. The last time he had a hard time getting it in, getting in the needle properly, and he had to keep sticking me because he couldn't get it in the right spot. And he kept asking me because I also have scoliosis, which is a curvature of the spine. He's like, has anybody ever had it? He's like, has anybody ever had a hard time being able to do this? And I'm like, no, you're the first. So yeah, eventually he got it in. It was all good.
Isn't it like a long?
Yeah, I didn't look because I can't.
I have to get a shot.
Yeah, you can't see it because it's behind you anyways. It's in your spine. You have to basically sit like this, bent over, and they usually do it during a contraction.
So
My
you're
brother-
basically like you're like crying and then they're sitting in you.
Yes.
One of my brothers, he kept flipping. He kept wanting to go feet first. So my
Yeah.
mom had to sit up to keep him upright.
All right, last point, guys. Last point. Sociocultural influences. Some cultures are better at receiving pain than other cultures, as well as societal differences. If you have other people experiencing pain at the same time as you, your pain is going to be that much worse. Okay? That's why I have this little cartoon up here. It says, I know exactly how you feel. They both have an arrow in the butt. Okay? Sociocultural influences will also affect how we receive pain and how we feel pain. All right. On Monday, we will talk about taste